Listen, I will never forget when I received my termination letter. Honey, look, I ain't even know what to, listen. I will never forget when I received my termination letter, honey. Yes, my termination letter from church. Honey, I ain't never heard of such a thing in my life. Listen, but I got a good one for y'all today, so stay tuned, honey. It's real. Y'all, it's Bernita Rochele, and welcome to my spoken word and conversations, honey. Listen, remember, I ain't cross-eyed. It's her or the glasses, honey, and I'm about to get right into this letter. I will never forget it, okay? And I'll talk a bit afterwards, but here is how the letter went. Dear beloved member, our church records indicate that you have not attended worship services or contributed in the past several years. According to the church Constitution and bylaws, section 3.20, and duties of the members, section 303, as stated, termination of membership. Any member who avoidably misses services for a period of 6 months, typically based on the records of church attendance, participation, and contributions, will be sent a letter of warning, allowing them another chance to restore restoration. We understand that during during the COVID-19 pandemic, we all experienced tremendous stress. However, if you still want to be an active member of the above church, we will give you an opportunity to restore your membership. You can do this by calling the church office at the number to let us know whether you desire to continue membership and be attending new members class. And by attending new member class. Okay? Check this out. We miss, love you, praying for you. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? A place that I had attended for 15 years. I think it was 15 or it was 12. I can't remember, but it was like either, let me see, D 17. So it was at least since D was 14, either he was 14 or he was 12. It's one of those, right? But been there, never missed nothing. I have never had nobody take attendance. I don't remember raising my hand saying, here, I am here. Okay? I have never heard of anything like that. Let me tell you, when the letter came, I said, oh, I got a letter from the church, and it only had been a few months. That's it. It only had been, and that was during the COVID, but I was still trying to get it, but I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. Cause like I said, stuff just started to become scrambled and I could not understand. Like I couldn't get it no more. It was just like, eh. So anyway, when the letter came, my son was he started reading. I'm gonna try to figure this age out when it was, but it was around COVID, but it was just within months. Believe me, it was only months. It was no years, it was months. So when he when the letter came, I'm reading the letter. I'm like, oh, I got a letter from the church. I'm thinking this is going to be something great. But D was reading the letter faster than me. And he was like, Mom, the church doesn't want us anymore. And when I saw his face, I just took the letter, and it kind of got to me too, because I'm like, you've been here and you done served and you done gave, and I know what you're missing, because I was I was consistent in my contributions. Okay, I was consistent. So you're not missing that I was in attendance. You're missing the funds. That's what you were missing. And this is just my experience, okay? And it was hurtful. It was really hurtful, and this is not to condemn that church, but I had never received a letter like that. And for my son to read it, and he said, Mom, they don't want us there anymore. Like, he was gone. I could not believe that. Like, that really affected him. It really did. But his dad takes him to church, so it really wasn't like that much affected, because his dad was going to a church that he had attended since he was young. So he had that. He's always been in church. But to have him read that, but my response, I had to write a response to that, because I wanted them to know how that affected me, because I was kind of like in that toggle, like I wasn't sure, but okay, let me just take a breather. You know how sometimes you just need a breather? Because I was like, it just felt so like, it didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. So I was kind of like in this tug of war, like, okay. And that letter, when I received that letter, that right there was my confirmation that it was time to exit. Okay. But anyway, the follow-up letter went like this. I was shocked and stunned. My son was heartbroken. You ran down how I had not been in attendance and had not been giving. I don't ever remember raising my hand to say, present, I'm here. Nor have I ever seen anyone else do that. Now, I do remember that the building fund that I gave to faithfully, and I do remember my faithful tithe giving. Now, I ain't saying no names, but this is a damn shame. Just think, if I was a person that was thinking that I was ready to unalive, I'm just going to change that just because of YouTube, in a state of depression. All it would have taken is this one letter. Well, I don't have anything else to say, but Alvita Zane, peace out. It was definitely real and sometimes unreal. Even if I had one thought of coming back, after I read this letter, that diminishes all of that. It's a wrap. I cannot say that it was all bad though, but this letter right here is really sad. I'm going to let you get back to your business, but let me tell you, he ain't nowhere in this. Now listen, I will never forget that. And you know what triggered this, y'all? Man, I have been having triggers like when people do stuff like that, and I'm totally over it. But when I hear things, it just brings me back to that, or certain situations, I'm totally over it. But what brought me to that, the remembrance, what brought it to my remembrance, because I have a stub here of a check that's $1,200, right? And so when I saw the Winans pastor, the lady goes up there and she's like, here's $1,200, right? You're giving this $1,200 because you want to. I'm telling you, when you do like the big, to you that's big. That may be small to other people, but when you can drop it like that, it was something about that made you be like, okay, I'm really helping. I'm really doing something. And to see him say, when that lady say, here's my $1,200. And he said, this ain't what I told you to give. I said 1,200 plus another 1,000, or 1,000 plus another 1,000. That's what I think he said. Look at the video. It's really current. So it triggered me to think. I had watched it off a Tabs page, and it had made me think of that. And how you give and how you try to help and how you try to serve. And it may not be what you want it to be, And I know people have their orders and things, but sometimes we got to look at it to see what people had to give. Even if that's not what you wanted, somebody else, you could be like, thank you for that. But okay, you don't even have to tell the person that you're going to give it to somebody else, but you can just be like a blessing to someone else. So when someone blesses you, it may not be what you want, but at least you can give it to someone else. They may need that. Okay. But I'm telling you, these pastors have been triggering. Just seeing the little different things that's happening and people are in need and need help and you ain't doing nothing. They come up with excuses after excuses. And I just be like, oh my God, I don't even respect people like that. When you see, let me get on back. But that was my experience with receiving a termination letter from a church. I had never experienced that before. So just to see this church stuff and how it's going and how people are using how the evangelists are doing and all this, it's really like, I'm so glad. And I'm not saying all pastors are like that. Do not get me wrong. I'm not, because there are some writers that are out here. But the ones that are just, they don't want to help you do nothing major. Like 2 things I know I helped and I couldn't get nothing. And I know what I contributed. So people will say, you weren't, when people started taking attendance. So what they doing? I ain't heard no roll call. I'm like, what a roll call? The call was your tithe. Your tithe and your offering was your attendance. Okay. That's how people take attendance when your money is missing. Okay. So listen, when I saw that video, that just took me all the way. That took me all the way to the left, but I came on back. But people have to know that this is what happens. And this is why certain people they're not going to church. They're not going to church. And you can sit up here and say people need to be in the building and all this, but when it's not sincere, nobody wants to be up in that. Nobody wants to be up in that. And so that's my deal, y'all. I did receive a termination letter from church. I ain't never heard of such a thing in my days, but hey, I'm sure other people received it too. Y'all, but that's it for that. Okay. Listen, thank you to my new ones and thank you to my day ones. Y'all been riding with a girl and I am so grateful. Well, that's it. That's all for me today, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Hey, y'all, it's Bernita Rochele and welcome to my spoken word and conversations. Hey y'all, it's Bernita Rochele and welcome to my spoken word and conversation.